Assalamu alaikum, my dear students of grade 6. I hope you all are safe and healthy at your places, and you all need to stay home, stay safe. Okay, now actually, I'm missing you all so very much. This is my favorite class, you all know very well. Okay, now let's start with the new grammar lesson, and that lesson is about modal auxiliaries. Yes, my dear, our current lesson is about modal auxiliaries. You all have read about auxiliary verbs in previous classes, and you all know very well that auxiliary verbs are helping verbs. These are the helping verbs, and they are usually used with the main verb. Alright, there are so many helping verbs. Yes, my dear, there are many kinds of modal auxiliaries like can, might, will, ought to, would, may, shall, should, must, could. These are few auxiliaries, and there are many more auxiliaries also. But we will not study all these auxiliaries today. The auxiliaries that we will study today are just will and shall, which refers to future tense, future time, and also sometimes determination. So in today's lesson, we will just study two auxiliaries, two modal auxiliaries, and those are will and shall. Okay, my dear, now let's compare these two auxiliaries, will versus shall. Will is used with second and third person form according to British grammar rules. Shall is used with first person form according to British grammar rules. As you know, my dear, that the English that we study here in Pakistan is British English. We follow all the British English rules most of the time. So we also in grammar also we follow British grammar rules. Second one is will is used with first person form when indicating a strong determination, and shall is used with second and third person form when indicating a strong determination. Will is less polite than shall. Shall is more polite than will. Will is more commonly used than shall, especially in America. And shall is less commonly used. So here it is the comparison of will and shall. Now, my dear, I have prepared a video, not prepared, I found an interesting video for you, and that will also be very helpful to you. So please watch this whole lesson video very carefully. Then you have to do a task also, my dear.
There are two sets of rules for using will and shall. I call these the normal future and the strong future. Let's talk about the normal future first. This is when we express a plan, an expectation, or a prediction. The grammar rule says that if the subject of the sentence is I or we, then shall should be used. Here are some examples. I shall wait for you at the train station. And we shall not go to the museum if we don't have time. You see here that we're using shall because the subjects are I and we. In English, I and we are known as the first person. If the subject is the second person, you, or the third person, he, she, it, they, etc., then will should be used. Here are some examples. You will find the flash drive in the locker. The match will not take place on October 7th. Instead of the match, you can also say it will not take place. And finally, all employees will receive fire safety training every 2 years. Here you can say they instead of all employees. Now these sentences on the screen are called the normal future or plain future because they're normal sentences and there's no emotion attached to them. But sometimes we want to express a strong emotion about the future. It could be a promise, a command, determination, or duty. We call this the strong future. The grammar rule is that for the strong future, we reverse will and shall. So now we're going to use will with the first person, I and we, and shall with the second and third person. Take this sentence for example. I will get an A on this exam, I promise. Compare this to the previous sentence. I shall wait for you at the train station. There's no emotion there. It's just a simple future arrangement. But when I say, I will get an A on this exam, you can tell that I'm showing strong determination. So this is the strong future, and we use will. Here's another example. We will not tolerate smoking inside the building. You see that this is a warning, and it's a strong warning, so we use will. These are first-person subjects. With second and third-person subjects, we use shall. For example, you shall finish your homework before you go out to play. What type of sentence is this? It's a command or order. You can imagine a mother saying this to her child. The next example is, the wedding shall not take place. Compare this to the previous sentence. The match will not take place on October 7th. Why? Maybe because of weather conditions or other scheduling problems. But the strong future sentence is very different. When I say the wedding shall not take place, I'm saying I won't allow the wedding to take place. I will stop the wedding. Of course, I have no reason to stop anybody's wedding, but you can see how there's a lot of emotion or feeling in this sentence. Here's one last example. All employees shall wear safety gloves when handling hazardous chemicals. This is a rule, and it's a strict rule that must be obeyed by all employees. That's why we use shall. Now for all pronouns, I, you, we, they, he, she, and it, you can shorten both will and shall and say I'll, you'll, we'll, etc.
Yes, now I hope you have enjoyed this video and you got so much. There was so much explanation about the use of shall and will in that video, and you need to watch this again if you still do not understand anything. And let's discuss it once again, rather recapitulate it once again. Will and shall as a modal auxiliary. Will, to talk about the future and or polite request. Will she come round tomorrow? Yes, she will. Will you do me a favor, please? No, I won't. And for the use of shall, that is usually used with I or we, first person pronouns. To make suggestions or to offer something. Shall we go for a walk and discuss it? Certainly. Shall I answer the phone for you? Yes, please. Note, in legal English, shall is used for all the persons and it is used as obligation. The client shall cover expenditure on film prints, advertising, and general distribution cost. So this was the brief recapitulation of the main lesson about shall and will. Now you are supposed to do an activity. Okay, my dear, open page number 72 of your grammar book, and there is one question like fill in the blank in each sentence with shall or will and give within brackets the explanation for the use of either in the sentence. Means in the brackets you have to give the explanation that why that particular shall or will word are used. Either they are used to just to show the future time or they are used to show the determination. That's what you have to decide. Okay, now my dear, solve this page number 72 of your grammar book, but don't forget to solve it with pencil. Alright, with pencil. Later on, I'll upload the key and then you have to do the whole work with pen. Okay, bye bye. Allah Hafiz. Take very good care of yourself. And till the next lesson. Next lesson will also be about modal auxiliaries. Okay, Allah Hafiz.